When you hear the word paratha, it instantly brings to mind the sizzling sound of dough hitting a hot tawa, the aroma of ghee or oil rising up, and the comfort of a flaky, golden bread that has been a staple of South Asian kitchens for centuries. But have you ever wondered how this homemade delicacy made its way into giant industrial plants where millions of frozen parathas are produced every single day for global markets? Let's take a deep dive into the journey of frozen parathas, tracing their path from humble Desi kitchens to massive food factories. For centuries, parathas have been prepared by hand rolled out in kitchens from Karachi to Calcutta, Lahore to Lucknow, and across South Asia. Traditionally, the process begins with wheat flour, kneaded carefully with water, salt, and sometimes a touch of ghee or oil. The dough is allowed to rest, then rolled out, layered with ghee, folded, and rolled again to create its signature flaky texture. Each household had its own method, passed down from generations, making paratha not just a food, but a cultural tradition. But as South Asians migrated around the globe, their love for parathas traveled with them. The demand grew not only among Desi families abroad, but also among international customers who developed a taste for this versatile This rising demand gave birth to the frozen paratha industry. Now, let's step inside a modern frozen paratha factory. It all begins with high-quality wheat flour. Unlike home kitchens, where flour is scooped from a bag, industrial production requires flour to be tested in labs for its protein content and gluten strength to critical factors that affect dough elasticity and final texture. The flour is automatically conveyed into giant mixers, where it is combined with water, salt, and oil. Industrial mixers ensure uniform hydration of every particle of flour, something that is much harder to achieve by hand. Within minutes, hundreds of kilograms of dough are prepared. Next comes resting time. Just like at home, dough needs to relax so the gluten strands can settle. In factories, the dough is passed through resting chambers with controlled temperature and humidity, ensuring consistency across thousands of parathas. Once rested, the dough is divided into small portions using high-speed dividing machines. Each portion is weighed with precision, ensuring that every paratha is exactly the same size and thickness, perfect for stacking and packaging later. These dough balls then move on to sheeters and rollers, which flatten them into perfect circles. Some factories also apply a thin layer of oil between folds, mimicking the traditional technique that creates flaky layers. For stuffed parathas, fillings like potato, paneer, or minced meat are automatically injected or layered before sealing. Here comes the magic. In many frozen paratha plants, the flatbreads are lightly heated on conveyor belt tawas or griddles. This step locks in the flavor, partially cooks the dough, and ensures that when the customer finally cooks it at home, it puffs up beautifully with those golden brown spots. Immediately after semi-cooking, the parathas enter a blast freezer. At temperatures as low as -40 degrees Celsius, the parathas are frozen within minutes. This rapid freezing preserves freshness, prevents microbial growth, and maintains that just-made taste. Unlike slow freezing at home, blast freezing forms tiny ice crystals that don't damage the dough structure, keeping the texture perfect when reheated. Once frozen solid, the parathas move on to automated packaging lines. Here, they are stacked in neat piles, sealed in moisture-proof packaging, and labeled with nutritional information. Some factories even use modified atmosphere packaging, replacing oxygen with nitrogen or carbon dioxide to extend shelf life without preservatives. Finally, the parathas are boxed, stored in massive cold storage warehouses, and shipped across the globe, from Dubai supermarkets to North American Desi stores, from UK convenience shops to Australian restaurants. But there's more to the story than just machinery. The frozen paratha industry also represents food science and innovation. Manufacturers continuously test recipes to balance authenticity with convenience. For instance, they experiment with different oil blends to achieve the traditional flaky texture, while keeping health-conscious customers in mind. Some companies are even developing whole wheat, multigrain, or gluten-free parathas, catering to modern dietary needs while honoring tradition. The journey of frozen parathas is also about economics. In countries like Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, entire factories employ thousands of workers, many of whom specialize in quality control, machinery, maintenance, and packaging supervision. The industry has turned paratha making from a small household activity into a multi-million-dollar global business. And let us not forget logistics. Keeping parathas frozen all the way to your table is no small feat. Cold chain, supply systems, refrigerated trucks, storage depots, and freezer shelves in stores play a crucial role in making sure your paratha is as fresh as the day it was made. So, the next time you toss a frozen paratha onto your tawa, remember this. Behind that simple flatbread lies a fascinating story. A story that began in small Desi kitchens, with mothers and grandmothers rolling dough by hand, and now continues in massive industrial plants, with cutting-edge technology, feeding millions of people around the world. From tradition to technology, from the tawa to the factory line, the frozen paratha is a true symbol of how culture and innovation come together to bring comfort food to every corner of the globe.